One Piece has finally gone on a 1-month break, but that doesn't mean that Oda has left us hanging, as chapter 1053 gave us revelation after revelation while also leaving us with even more questions. But the biggest one would have to be, where the heck is Pluton? Well, I think I've actually found it. Just like you can find more One Piece content each and every week by simply smashing that subscribe button and hitting that noti bell, so you'll always be the first to know when I upload a new video. So, in the last chapter, Robin finally revealed that Pluton is within Wano, with Kozuki Sukiyaki, Oden's father and previous shogun, confirming this fact. But where could it possibly be? I mean, think about it. Kaido has been basically ruling Wano for 20 plus years at this point, and you're telling me that somehow he's been unable to locate Pluton within that time frame? That's just unbelievable to me. Sure, Kaido may not know that Pluton is on Wano, a fact that I highly doubt, but you're telling me that Kaido, someone that can turn into a giant dragon and fly all around Wano in a matter of minutes, couldn't find what is probably one of the biggest ships in the One Piece story? Heck, even if he didn't know that it was on Wano, I would think he would stumble upon Pluton, or at the very least, records that it existed there. But no, we got nothing. This basically confirms that Pluton can't be anywhere on land or in the sky. And for those of you who are asking, why can't it be in the sky, Jintone? One word, dragon. No, not this dragon. This dragon. I mean, Kaido has been able to fly up to Sky Islands before and just jump off of them. And for those who aren't aware, Sky Islands are located 10,000 meters above the sea level. And for Americans, that's about 6,213 miles, which is like more than 1,000 Mount Everest just stacked on top of each other. And this man can just casually fly to it. It's safe to say that if Pluton was some kind of airship, this man would have been able to find it by now. Heck, he's probably the only one in the One Piece story that could. Since we finally established that there's no way that Pluton could be on or above Wano, that leaves one last place to look. Below. Wait, did you really need me to tell you that? Come on, keep up. The first and by far the most popular theory is that Pluton is actually underwater, specifically on the shore of Wano or directly under where Onigashima was. And I actually love this theory. As some of you may know, Pluton, who would later be known as the Greek god Hades, is actually the god of the underworld. So the skull on top of Onigashima may actually represent the gates to the underworld, or in this case, Pluton. So it would make a lot of sense that Pluton would be directly under this skull, especially now that Onigashima has been moved by Kaido, thus opening up the gates to the underworld, allowing Pluton to easily rise to the surface. And while I do love this theory and think it makes a lot of sense, I actually don't think Pluton is underwater. Well, at least not originally. But instead, I believe that Pluton was or still is underground, or specifically directly under the flower capital or where Onigashima fell. This way we can keep the idea that the skull of Onigashima represents the gates of hell, but now it's just on land. And if you think about it, this makes perfect sense. I mean, just take a look at this panel here, where we get a closer look at exactly where Kaido and Big Mom fell. We are able to see the volcano that is directly under Wano that later erupted in this panel here. I mean, what better place would an ancient weapon named after the god of the underworld be if not hidden underground on a volcanic island, which the volcano can easily represent hell? The main evidence for this theory, besides somehow Kaido the Duck not being able to find Pluton in 20 plus years, which I still find unbelievable, is actually the fact that we know Wano has done something similar in the past. Specifically, the Morgura port, one of the only 2 legal ways into Wano itself. And this port is just a massive hole that has been dug to allow easy entrance into Wano, allowing people to enter Wano without using the extremely dangerous Koi waterfall. This is not only the perfect place for ships to enter, but would be instrumental for transporting Pluton quickly in case of emergencies. As while we don't know how long ago this port was created, we can assume since it's one of the only 2 ways to enter Wano, it's most likely been around at the very least since Wano closed its borders. Morgura port also proves that Wano was advanced enough to be able to safely dig through the ground to sea level. So at the bare minimum, they had the means to hide Pluton underground. But the question is, why would they make that decision? I mean, if Wano had a weapon that can destroy islands in a single attack, according to Crocodile, why hide it? Shouldn't they have used it against the world government? Unfortunately, these questions still haven't been answered, but I do believe this answers the reason Wano became an isolated country. I mean, obviously Wano fought against the world government during the Void Century, as we know Wano created the poneglyphs. However, I believe the true reason that they isolated the whole country was because of Pluton. As back in the Void Century, the Shogun of Wano probably knew that Pluton was too powerful to fall into the Tenryobito's hands. But at the same time, they knew that Pluton would be needed for the future, just like they were able to predict Joy Boy's return. So now that we've established that Wano had both the means and reason to want to hide Pluton underground, we need to discuss where Pluton is right now, as we actually have two options. First, Pluton is directly underneath the flower capital in some type of cave, but this is pretty boring, so I don't think Oda would do that. My theory is that Pluton was actually in the volcano, or specifically within the magma chamber that both Big Mom and Kaido fell into before the massive eruption. This eruption actually caused it to rise to the surface through one of these many cracks that were formed, finally allowing someone to discover and possibly use Pluton for the first time in 800 years. Unfortunately, while I love this theory, it doesn't make much sense because I don't even think Adam's wood could survive a volcano. But what if Pluton wasn't made of wood? If you would like to hear what I believe Pluton really is and what it's made of, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you'll always be aware when 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚡 uploads a new video. Until next time, bye bye!